Hi again everybody, this is week 2 of your virtual lessons. I hope you got on okay with last week's lessons. So we're going to build on some of those things and we're going to try some new things this week too. So I hope you've got your packs ready and your instruments ready and a pencil. Let's start. Here is lesson 2's warm-up. Before we start, here's an A. Of the warm-up is to make sure that you're making the best sound and you're getting both yourself warmed up, fingers and bow, hand, but you're also warming the instrument up. So we don't want to be making this sort of sound. We want to be making the full sound. I'd like you to try and copy my sound. I'm going to focus in on my left hand so you can really see my fingers working, so you know what notes I'm playing. But I want you to think about the sound we're making. Here's the metronome. Crotchet equals 120. We'll do open strings first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to add some fingers. I'm going to do it on 2 strings this week, D's and A's. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Super. I want you all to check, is your wrist nice and straight here, or are any of you playing like that or like that? Remember, we want a lovely straight wrist along here. So the first thing I've asked you to do is to look at some time signatures, and I'd like you to explain what those time signatures mean. We have talked about this in lessons, and if you're not sure, you can always text me, you could look it up, you can ask a parent, see if they know. Be really, really careful that you talk about how many beats are in the bar and what kind of beat they are. Are they crotchets? Are they quavers? Are they minims? So that's a little clue for you. And then I'd like you to go through one of your books and find a piece for me and look what the time signature is and explain that. So you're finding it in the piece, seeing where it sits in your piece and what it means to you. So that's the first thing. Second thing is herb round. So last week we learnt herb round, and you could have either learnt it by reading the notes or I taught it you a couple of bars at a time. So hopefully you enjoyed doing that and you've been playing that. Have you got it from memory yet? I'm not sure I have, but I'll try. So I am going to play it for you now again, and I'd like you to play it with me. I've got my metronome, this time I've got it in my ear, just in a headphone so you can't hear it. I've got it on crotchet equals 100. 100 crotchet beats per minute. Okay, so I'm going to count you in. We're going to play it all together once through. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's a test. Can you all close your eyes? I'm going to do the same and we're going to see if we can do it from memory. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it. Okay, we could do other silly things with that, couldn't we? We could do standing on one leg, closing your eyes. We could try and do it sitting down. Lying down is quite hard to play. Can you try it holding your instrument in the wrong hand? That's impossible. So all different ways of practicing, but closing your eyes is a very good one of that. So on YouTube, I have put a version of this in a round, and I want you to try and play it in a round now. So when I start, and I get to the next note, you're going to start. But you start at the beginning. Don't start in bar 3. Start at the beginning. So that we're starting, in effect, 2 bars later than each other. And on the music, you'll see that it's marked 1, 2, 3, and 4. So when I get to 2, you start. And then the next person, when I get to 3, they would start. So there's only 2 of us, isn't there, in this? But if we were doing it in a class lesson, we could have done this with more parts. But you could try it. You could try just starting at 3, or you could try just starting at 4 and seeing how that works. The whole point of a round is that it sounds nice. So all the time the notes are harmonic. There's no dissonances at all. They're all harmonic. They all sound nice. So see if that works for you. So I'm going to play it through now 4 times, and I would like you to play it 4 times through. You can choose whether you come in at number 2 or number 3 or number 4, and then you can rewind the video back to this point and you can try it at a different place. So here we go. Let me switch my metronome on. Crotchet equals 100 again. 1 bar in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I left a bit of silence at the end for those people that were still playing their parts. So I was hoping that would be if the last person had started at 4, then that would have worked out okay. I hope I didn't talk over you. Apologies if I did. How did that sound? What I'm really hoping is that you've just played that and then mum or dad or brother or sister has come in and gone, wow, that sounds lovely. What was that? because that's the sort of effect we want around to do. So mums and dads, if you haven't said that, now's your chance. Okay, your third task is to go back to your piece of music that you looked at last week. So this is a new piece of music I asked you to do, and hopefully you've got an okay with that. You've learnt the rhythms, you've learnt the notes, or you're still in the process of doing that. That's cool. I want you to think about now what the story is. So, is your story happy or is it sad? Is it creepy or spooky or surprising or shocking? Or is it a story? Sometimes I ask my students and they tell me the most amazing stories about castles and dragons and werewolves, and there's a whole story that goes right from the top of the piece all the way down to the bottom. So can you have a think about that? It might be a very personal story to you. It might be that you're playing a piece of music, it's not clear from the title what the piece of music is about, and you make it into a story about what this coronavirus feels like for you. Being a bit scared, perhaps staying inside, not being able to see your friends. It could be anything. So I'd love you to do that. This week, if you're ready to, can you upload it to Flipgrid or send me a copy or perform it to your family? Somehow of showing that story to somebody else. So last week I asked you to look at the beautiful piece by Jay Ungar called Fallen Soldier, and hopefully you've done that and can learn the notes and know how it goes, etc. So we're going to try playing it along now with the piano accompaniment which I've recorded and is on YouTube. So you can find that and play along, or you can just use this video. So it goes through 4 times, you'll hear me speak. Here is Fallen Soldier by Jay Ungar. I'll give you 2 bars in and then a 2-bar introduction, and we're going to play it 4 times through. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to pause it there. Pause. Because you can go and play with that on YouTube. I am going to talk to you about what I want you to do next. And I want you to do a bit of improvisation, a bit of harmonising, and a bit of composing. So you can choose how you do this. Some of you will find this extremely easy, and some of you might find it a bit harder. That's absolutely fine. We all have to learn at some stage. So lots of ideas for you. First of all, you could just play the chord note. So in the first bar it says D. In the second bar it says D/C sharp. What that means, it means a D chord with a C sharp at the bottom. The next bar is D/B, so that's a D chord with a B at the bottom, etc. There is D7, that means a dominant 7th chord on D, so you would play D, F sharp, A and C natural. There are some other ones in there that you might want to look up. When it says EM with a little m, that means E minor, for example. Let's not worry too much about the sustained fourths and things like that. To keep it simple, you could just play in the first bar, D, in the second bar, D, in the third bar, D, etc. So you're just playing the first letter of those chord names. So, oh, you can't see it. D, 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 G, D, E, A, etc. And that would work as a harmony. So you could also make them into arpeggios like this. It's a little bit like what I did on the piano. Or you could do guitar style like this. So that's one way of harmonising. Or you could try and play everything a third higher or a third lower. It's going to work. If you stick to a third higher, it's going to work most of the time. There may be a few things that don't quite sound so nice. Likewise, if you start a third lower, it's going to work most of the time. When people harmonise, they tend to swap between the two, so you could have a think about that. You're wanting to make your harmony notes fit in with those chords that you can see written there. So instead of starting on a D at the beginning and playing, you could start on an F sharp and play this. And that would sound really nice. And you could work your way through it. So can you read 3 notes up or 3 notes down from what is on that paper? That's quite complicated. So that's another idea. We're going to try it through in a bit. The third idea you could try would be to write your own middle section. This is going to take a bit of pausing on the video, but that's okay. So you play Fallen Soldier through, let's call that section A. And then you're going to write your own middle section, we'll call section B. And it should really be the same length as section A. So if you can do that, however many bars that is long, write another tune that's similar to that. So it's going to be still in 3/4, of course. It's still going to be in D major. You could, if you want, change key a little bit, maybe. But it's going to have a similar feel to it. And then after you've done your section B, you're then going to play section A again. So it becomes a sandwich. A, B, A. So that's one other thing you could do. And the final thing you could do is you could just make something up. So good improvisers just make something up. It sounds nice. So as it's playing Fallen Soldier, you could play anything so long that it sounds nice. You could play long sustained notes at the top like this. Something like that, which would sound hopefully nice. Whatever you want to do, but I want you to try and find a way of improvising or composing or harmonising with this piece of music. So I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to play it through again from the beginning. I'm going to play just the key notes. That was the first thing I said to you. So let me just rewind my video and we'll start again from the beginning. Here is Fallen Soldier by Viola. I give you 2 bars in and then a 2-bar introduction, and we're going to play it 4 times through. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Sounded quite nice, didn't it? So you could try that one, or you could try the playing in thirds above it. When I was doing the piano recording, I swapped it around a bit, so some will work really nicely with one of the different 4 verses. So good luck with that. I'd love to hear your versions. If you're being super creative, You could use one of the apps like Acapella or any that you can find and record just yourself playing it, or yourself with my piano part, or yourself with my complete piece from YouTube. And I'd love to hear what you do. Let's give this a couple of weeks to work on this. This is something we've got to work quite hard on to make it sound super good. Enjoy yourself. So the last thing that I want you to do, as ever, is a bit of theory, please. So this week I've given you a different bit of theory. Hopefully you got on last week and checked the answers. Have a go at this week, and remember you can have a look on any other ones on doubledaymusic.co.uk. There are loads of other websites that do music theory if you're really interested in it as well. Good. So to finish, I'm going to play you a piece of music of my own, and I hope you like this one.